to a bit of a surprise as St. Augustine up 19-14 at half, and it's a squib kick, no surprise there. And here's Barnes, but he is on his knee when he catches the ball, so he's immediately down at the 22-yard line. So St. Augustine will start at the 22. Barnes, I guess that's the right play, though, Buford. You want to make the catch first, right?
Exactly. Definitely want to make the catch because you turn the ball over there, that's a definite 6 points for John Curtis.
Right. Obviously, though, Burton Burns and Tony Villegas would have loved to have seen Barnes run with the ball again. This kid has been incredible tonight. Very impressive. Maybe the most impressive guy that we didn't expect so far.
Exactly. He really has been.
And Kareem Evans comes up over center as St. Augustine starts from their own 22-yard line. Out of the I formation. This is Fobbs trying to go outside, and Mike O'Brien with the tackle. Coming up and defending from his strong safety position. O'Brien with the tackle to stop the run there, and a couple of yard loss there. For St. Augustine, it'll be 2nd down and 12. Buford, that's the kind of play St. Augustine's that Curtis is going to need to come out with. They're going to have to force the run and say, hey, if you're going to beat us, it's going to have to be throwing.
They really are. That's what they're trying to say, and they need to establish it early in this quarter.
And O'Brien is their run stuffer from the secondary. 2nd down and 12 now for St. August. They line up at the 20. Ed Daniels getting set to join us again as he makes the sprint back from our round table. And the fake by Evans, and he'll throw the short when it's complete to Derek Lewis. Lewis on the ground when he catches it, so it'll be a short gain. It'll still be 3rd and about 8 there.
That wasn't a very good throw. He threw it off his back foot while he was still backing up, so he really couldn't get nothing in the throw. That was a fine catch.
Yeah, and here it looks, Buford, where you can see Lewis, he's got at least 3 or 4 yards after he catches the ball, and that's if the man makes the tackle. So St. Aug losing a chance there to maybe get a 1st down, or certainly get a lot closer to it than they are now.
They really did.
And Ed Daniels is back with the play-by-play call. Welcome back, Ed.
Thank you, Doug. I'm out of breath. You don't mind if you keep going a little while?
No, no problem. 3rd down and 8 now. Evans behind center out of the I, and they go up the middle, and there's no way to... Sean Rhodes breaks it outside, but too many people to get around. That's Eric Ganji, the senior inside linebacker for Curtis with the stop. And St. Aug's going to have to punt. Good opening defensive series by Curtis.
Well, if I were on the St. Club, Jim Mora would be screaming at me right now for not being able to make the line drills.
And there you see Rhodes makes a nice move here to get away, but just too many people, Buford. You can't beat a whole team.
There really was. You know, the thing was that they didn't even try to fake it to the lead back, and the defense was there the whole way.
And it's a low punt. This could be dangerous. On the bounce, that's Ricky Brandt, and Brandt stuffed right there at about their own 48-yard line, which is good field position for Curtis to get started. The tackle, that was Wayne Cordova for St. Aug. And Ed, are you ready yet? Have you regained your breath?
I think I'm okay, Doug. I think I'm going to make it here. This line drive punt by Brandt, who's a good athlete and did a good job of pulling in the ball, but he was swarmed by the St. Aug speed, and Cordova has been a busy man on special teams coverage tonight. So we'll call it a 1st down and 10 for Curtis. They're 48. Jeff Curtis on the dive, and room across midfield, maybe to the 48-yard line. Behind the surge of the Curtis offensive line, at the bottom of that pile with the football, is the little hound, Mike Strawn.
And Buford, not really much of a surprise now. Curtis, 5 points down. Obviously, it's a ball game. They've got to establish the fullback dive again.
It definitely is. And, you know, that's Curtis' game. Eat up the clock, and that's what I think they're going to start doing with this drive here.
Rocky Curl in at tight end. He had a big catch in the 1st half, but no pass here. The handoff to Dukes, and he's a load. He gets 5, maybe 6. And Paul Pounds, the offensive assistant down there checking the change, he says it's 3rd down and 1. And apparently that's what it's going to be.
And Buford, that's one disadvantage of the small linebacker. You could see Goodwin hit Dukes, and Dukes was able to carry him and get a few extra yards.
He really did. Dukes carried him for about 3 extra yards after being hit. But that shows the strength of Dukes, too, that he has some real good leg drive, and that's what you need to be a good running back.
Leon Curtis exhorting his defensive crew as they go out to measure, and it'll be about half a football short. So it'll be 3rd down in inches for Curtis. The Patriots kicked off to start the 2nd half. It was a 1-2-3 kick situation for the Purple Knights. And Successive runs by Strawn and Dukes have netted about 9 3/4 yards. So let's see if they can get the first. Jeff Curtis on the corner will keep it. Good decision. He's inside the St. Aug 37, almost down to the 36, and we have a Purple Knight who's down on the play. It's Kamal Smith, who's apparently twisted an ankle.
Nice decision here by Jeff Curtis. Keeps the ball, had the hole. No reason to risk the pitch on a 3rd and 1 when you have the first down. Nice decision there by the quarterback. He's played a good game. Hadn't completed a whole lot of passes. He's had a couple of drops. But you can see Kamal Smith limping off the field, and that could be big for St. Aug. He's had a terrific game so far.
The tackle by Travis Taylor after a 6-yard run. And a first down by the senior quarterback, Jeff Curtis. 8:32 and counting here in the 3rd quarter. St. Aug 19, Curtis 14. But the Patriots, with old-fashioned football, are across the 35, the 34, and we'll call it the 33-yard line on a handoff to Mike Strawn.
Ed Buford, I'm remembering last year's game when we had a close game at halftime. Second half, Curtis came right out, bam, 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 just like this play here, and we're able to stuff it down St. Aug and really dominate the second half.
Well, that's exactly what they're trying to do here, and, you know, with the defensive stand was the start of it.
The big guy, Jackson, jumps into the neutral zone. That should be a 5-yard penalty on St. Aug. So the clock stops with 7:57 to go in the 3rd quarter. And Jeff Curtis will look over for some instructions. His team will play a 2nd and short. Well, they've spotted the ball wrong, fellas. The ball was on the 33 and a half, and now it's just inside the 30-yard line. That's a 3.5-yard penalty.
And it doesn't look like anyone's noticed except you, Ed.
Not to criticize the officials. Hey, it's a fact. It was a 5-yard penalty. The ball should be down there near the 28. But it's not. It's at the 30. And Jeff Curtis fakes, gets a block from Dukes. Now he's in trouble, and he'll be sacked as Raynaud Thompson fought off the block of Kevin Dukes and comes up with a big sack to get those 5 yards back and more.
And you can see here, Buford, Thompson beating Kevin Dukes. Not a good job by the running back there.
Well, it wasn't. The thing was the quarterback came close to him, so that didn't really give him time to, you know, recuperate and get back in front of him. So it was just a great play by Raynaud Thompson.
David Caldwell, number 6, is in, as is 23, James Powell. So a pair of junior receivers are into the game. Caldwell left, Powell right. And 3rd down and 7. Jeff Curtis has time, and he doesn't have a man as it's knocked down at around the 28-yard line by Sean Goodwin, the inside linebacker. We've called 41 a lot tonight. We call him again.
Yeah, that was a good defensive play. He was right there on the tight end the whole time.
And here we'll see it again. This is Curtis looking for Lilly. Lilly, a terrific player. His 3rd year as a starter. He's just a junior. This kid's going to be a big-time player. Not a good pass there. You can see it was a...
No, it wasn't a good pass. It was behind the receiver.
Ricky Brandt is in. Caldwell is out, and Curtis will go for it. 4th down at a long 6 from the Aug 33. And the backs, it's Wells behind Curtis. Quick throw and a catch, and it went to Brandt, and a first down at the 25-yard line.
Flag on the play, Ed. Nice play by Curtis getting it out to Brandt, but we do have a flag.
I think the flag is for too many guys on the line of scrimmage at the same time. The receiver out here, they had a tight end on the line, and he lined up on it too.
20 offense.
We'll see if Coach Jordan's right again.
And it appears that he is. So an 11-yard gain and a first down by Curtis is wiped out. They'll walk off 5, and I think you can hear J.T. Curtis screaming he's a tight end. That's why he was downfield, because he's a tight end. Well, now Curtis has to punt.
What happened is he became ineligible when the guy on the outside receiver got on the line. He became like a tackle over.
Thank you, Professor Jordan. You're right on the spot again.
And Tony Villegas has to be happy about that one. A fortunate play for St. Aug.
We're not paying Jordan enough. Whatever we're paying, go in and renegotiate. The kick is almost blocked. It's a minor. And it's fielded by Barnes. Barnes, who was itching to get more real estate. He got about 4, make it 3, and St. Aug will play a first down and 10 at their own 12 with 6:16 to go in the third quarter.
And Curtis has found something that will stop Jamil Barnes. It was a puddle on that play.
Well, O'Brien took his dandy time.
And that's Raynoch Thompson again getting through.
And it looked like O'Brien kicked it between his arms. Got it down the field, and Barnes, who has an 85-yard punt return and more, was thinking about lots more. Couldn't get it, and neither does Fobbs, who was tackled for a 1-yard loss on another play by linebacker Jason Smith.
Jason Smith all over the field in this one. He and Sean Goodwin are going back and forth on these two teams, seeing who can make more plays.
Well, fellas, as we look out here through the booth, the window in front of us is fogged up a little bit. So we could say, hey, Mr. Window Cleaner, please bring your Windex up here to the press box.
Okay, then.
Something like that. I was trying to extricate myself. Here's a handoff and a run by Charles. He's over the 15. He's at about the 17-yard line for a gain of 6. The tackle by Clarence LeBlanc. And Aug will play a third down and let's call it a third down and 5.
I tell you what, on that play, as you saw Charles right there hit in and then bounce out, well, some of the defensive coaches were real concerned about that. They say they make it look like they're trying to hit it there, but they really want to bounce it outside because of the speed of Charles and all those guys. So, you know, you look to see some of that more.
St. Aug again, 2 tight ends, the power eye. Nothing fancy from Fobbs, who was down before the ball got loose.
And Ed, I think you'd have to call that a pretty gutsy call. You got a 3rd and 5, you go right up the gut.
The tackle by Norman, a 6-yard gain and a first down. And I think thus far, fellas, the story of the game, other than Barnes' efforts on returns, this young St. Aug offensive line has been terrific.
And Burton Burns was really worried about these guys. He was poor-mouthing, saying he needed help up front, and that has not been the case from watching this team so far.
Well, the Purple Knights with a first down at the 23. Kareem Evans hands to Sean Rhodes. He's around the end, but in trouble and hauled down on the play. A few words exchanged. The tackle by Mike O'Brien, who doubles as the punter, and J.T. Curtis is showing his offensive line some zone blocking or two. A 3-yard gain by Rhodes. The ball goes to the 25.
Again, Buford, just a case of, like you said, trying to get the speed to the outside, but here Curtis does a nice job of stringing this thing out. That's O'Brien again, who's a terrific run supporter from the secondary.
That really was. That really was, because if he didn't get his hands on him, you're looking at about 10 yards, maybe even more.
Evans at the 25. Penetration. And a stick on Fobbs. Somebody got through and almost took the handoff away from Fobbs.
That was 93, Mitch Tassin getting through, and I believe that was Ernie Beto on the tackle on Fobbs. Fobbs almost getting away, but if Beto's got you, you're not going to get away.
Yeah, I tell you what, this Mitch Tassin, they say he's a backup. He's doing a pretty good job. If he plays that well, you'd like to see the starter, Tony, play.
Let's go to Tom Bagwell quickly. Tom?
Buford, if you've got to do windows, I definitely renegotiate. But here's the word on Jamal Smith. He actually got back in after he came out. Just cramps in the calves. He'll be back in the game on defense.
Third down and about 8. The Knights will throw it, or will they? Kareem Evans tries to unload it and makes a bad mistake. Throws it right to Mike O'Brien. He fumbles it, but it'll be a turnover, and Curtis football at the 25. The young man was a fine quarterback, made a mistake, never should have thrown that one.
Well, here we'll see it again, Buford. Like Ed said, this is just a pass you don't make. He's got the rush coming at him. That's Beto occupying 2 men, getting, it's a play forced by the All-American, and Mike O'Brien makes the catch on defense, and Curtis is in business.
They really are. That was a big turnover.
A 6-yard return for O'Brien, who fumbled it. It was recovered by Brandt. And the handoff up the middle, and a gain of 2. And somewhere up in the clouds tonight, fellas, Woody Hayes is smiling. This is his kind of football. This is Ohio State, Michigan, after a first half of BYU and San Diego State. injury on the field.
Actually, St. Aug looks like they have a couple of guys down.
It's Seymour. Buford, would you say this is cramping?
Yeah, he came out of the pile. And, you never know. But the way he's in agony, could be a sprained ankle, because he got up and actually walked. It could be a sprained ankle or cramps in the calf.
Well, let's take a look at the replay. It looks like a cramp to me. It looks like a non-contact situation for Seymour. And they're working on him out here. Yeah, it looks like cramps.
Exactly.
They're also working on a defensive back, too. Two St. Aug players down on the same play. Can't catch a number yet on the defensive back that's down. We believe it's Wayne Cordova.
Well, with 3:13 to go here in the third quarter, St. Aug leads Curtis 19-14.
And at this point, Buford, it seems like we're waiting for someone to take the momentum. This game, since the second half started, neither team seems to be really asserting themselves. They're going back and forth a little bit. No one's really grabbed hold of this thing yet.
They really have, it really has been like that the whole game. And, it's continuing through this quarter.
Well, it's hot and humid out there, and it'll heat up in the Superdome on Sunday afternoon as the Chiefs and Saints play. Steve Walters, the Saints receiving coach, is here when he's visiting with Alexander Laurent, and Steve has a vested interest in tonight's ball game. Let's find out about it. Alex?
His son Kurt is the number 3 quarterback here with John Curtis. Coach, when you take a look at the offense so far, these teams are pretty balanced.
Yes, they're both showing a real powerful running game. They've both had some timely passes, although the running game's been most of their offense. And both defenses in the first half had a hard time stopping each other. Right now, I think the defensive intensity on both sides of the ball is picking up, and this is going to be a real tight ball game.
Because St. Aug has a young line, and Curtis has a little more experience. Has that come into play at all this game?
Well, it hasn't shown that much to me so far. Now, it could later in the game. It's still in the third quarter here. And sometimes experience will show later. If they get a little bit tired, the young guys it may show. But so far, it hasn't shown to me.
Okay, thanks a lot. Okay, Fast Eddie, back to you.
Thank you, Alex. Back with more at Gormley in a minute.
I bought my car new in 1970. I drove a hockey team a 190-mile round trip 3 times a week.
Avalon Formula 3 from Texaco.
I took good care of it. And when I
Kickoff classic. St. Aug with a 5-point lead, but Curtis threatening. Hand off up the middle and nothing doing. Call it no gain on the play. Kenneth Jackson, the big guy, the 6'3", 280-pound sophomore. Boy, I just think about the possibilities with that guy and wonder.
The word Tony Villegas said about him, he said, he will be a big time at some point, but for now he is green as grass. Look there like they knew what was coming, Buford.
Yeah, they did. They read that pretty good. Good gang tackling.
Cordova and Seymour are out due to cramps, as we surmised earlier. They will be back, but for now, Curtis on 3rd down and 9. They run the option right, and Jeff Curtis has to keep for a 2-yard gain. So that'll set up 4th down and 7. My guess is they'll go for it. And J.T. Curtis is already at the 40-yard line.
That was a good guess.
Calling him. This young guy is overheated, we are told. Jason Smith.
Who was having a terrific night, the inside linebacker. It's just that kind of night here. You know the way it gets in New Orleans after a rain can get awfully muggy.
It really can, and that's exactly what's happening to these guys.
4th down and 7. 2 tight end formation. Curtis will option it. Jeff Curtis will keep it. Will he make the first down? He will, as he's inside the 15-yard line. The tackle by Morris Reed, and if I'm the defensive coordinator, I have to be fooled by the fact that they would run the option on 4th down and that long a yardage.
That was perfect time to do it. They were waiting for that off the tackle again, and they caught him. As you saw the one guy fall inside, and they were able to get around outside and pick up the yardage necessary.
So you would think on 4th and 8 that Curtis would be throwing, but instead Jeff Curtis keeps it left. The tackle by Kamal Smith on an 8-yard run. And Smith limps off the field, and now St. Aug has to make a replacement.
Even game so far, Ed. John Curtis in the second half picked up a few more first downs. They're 11-9 on first downs at this point.
So a little bit of a surprise as Curtis sticks to basics and makes the 8 yards and a first down. They hand off inside, and they get about 4 on a run by the Little Hound Strand, and another tackle. Seems like number 200 of the night for Sean Goodwin.
Sean Goodwin, again, the 5'8", 180-pound senior, the Sam Mills side. There's Jeff Curtis looking for answers. A good little drive here. Curtis needs the score here. Momentum shifting. We're under a minute to go in the third quarter.
43 seconds to go in the third quarter. We've been scoreless thus far in this frame. Handoff inside to Dukes, who's gathered in by Farrell Green and company. He gains 2. The ball will be at the 9, making it a 3rd down and 4, and that should be the last play of the quarter. The tackle by Robert Nixon.
And good news, Cordova, number 46 for St. Aug, is back in the game. It was a cramp, so it's always good to see the kids back in the game. Safe to say, Buford, this is a huge next 2 plays here. If St. Aug can hold them and keep this lead, they'll be in good shape. Curtis with a chance to go up now.
It really will. The thing is St. Aug is doing a good job of stopping him. It's just when they need to make the big play, they're not doing it. And that's what's keeping this drive alive, because right there you had him at 4th and 8.
Well,
stop him.
Buford Jordan and Doug Moose